Welcome to Me, Myself and Mental Health, episode 7, I think. Still by episode 7, not sure where I'm going to be looking. We'll find out when I edit. So, it's be fairly obvious what the topic of this one is going to be about. With everything that's going on at the minute, it's a high stress situation for absolutely everyone anywhere. So I wanted to kind of speak to the people who perhaps are in poor mental health or who have had mental health issues in the past to see what's going on now. Anxiety in particular is obviously something that is heightened for absolutely everyone. If it's something that you suffer with on a day-to-day basis, then this has got to be an awful time. Eating disorders, this has got to be, I presume, particularly triggering, seeing the mania around food, and even perhaps just having, if you're with people who are kind of raiding the supermarkets, having your house completely full of a bunch of foods, and the lack of control that kind of is coming with the food situation at the minute as well. Again, potentially really triggering. OCD, that's going to be a massive one. So much emphasis on this isolation, on this whole pandemic as a whole has been talking about hygiene. OCD related to cleaning and to hygiene is one of the more common symptoms of OCD. If you have personality disorders like myself, again, pretty hard times out there. This is kind of me just saying to people who are suffering with pre-existing mental health issues, don't feel like just because this is something that involves everyone that you can't still speak up about your issues. Like, they haven't been shrunken down by what's going on just because everyone else is also feeling it. And to everyone else who is feeling it but doesn't have necessarily a medical history of these things, do remember that while you're going through it, there are other people who are going to be really feeling this probably tenfold. If people who have spent a long time trying to recover from mental health issues, things like BPD, myself, or bipolar disorder, a lot of your recovery tends to come from looking at triggers and building positive habits and routines. Obviously, right now, pretty much everyone's routine has been entirely disrupted. So I would say to anyone who has been recovering, none of our lives are going to go back to exactly the way they were before. That's just a given. And we don't know what they will be, but you can decide and you can try to start creating a new normal, even if that new normal is a temporary one. You can start going over the steps that you already took to recover and to get yourself into a positive headspace. Start taking them again to adapt to the situation that you're in now, even if those steps are a temporary measure over the 4 to 6 weeks or however long this first peak is. If it's something helps you, then do it. And don't worry so much about what is out of your hands. I know that's easier said than done, but it really is out of your hands. Isolation it's a crazy thing. I was described by a friend recently as being hypersocial, and I would agree with that entirely. Never used to be. I didn't used to be that social at all. I was someone who really needed to be in my own space. It was quite a known thing amongst my friends back home. I would just disappear on nights out because I kind of had my fill of being around people. I was a bit too overwhelmed. I'm a pretty emphatic person. I felt fine about everything until I walked down the street yesterday and just sort of interacted with a couple of people in the shop, and then I just felt everything. So sometimes for me it's probably healthier to isolate, but when it's enforced like this, it's you know, kind of climbing the walls a bit. So I'm just trying to find ways, like doing videos like this, to keep myself occupied in a constructive manner. Because if I get too much in my head about the fact that I'm, you know, enforced on my own, and my flatmates aren't around really, I will go off the deep end a bit. And then if I get sick, it will be far harder to recover, because it's, you know, kind of well established, the connection between body and mind. If you're not in the right mindset, if you're feeling really down, it's a lot harder to have the will to physically fight an illness. So whether you have a pre-existing condition or not, do anything you can to try and keep yourself, or get yourself into a positive headspace, and stay there and help other people get there. Because if you start feeling really, really shit up here, then you're not going to have the mental bandwidth to push yourself through any physical ailments that may come as a result of everything that's going on. And for people with addiction issues, like, fuck, this is going to be, it's not going to be an easy time. Obviously not easy for anyone, but you know, every 1800% was the increase in sales for bottle stores yesterday, because that's what we do in a crisis. We turn to things that relax us. But if you're someone who's had alcohol or drug addiction issues, maybe your relaxing thing is going swimming, or I don't know, even just socializing, and that's been taken away. So, you know, speak to people, try and find a meeting. The helplines, I hope, are still open. If not, the information on the website is still there. I'm still here. I don't have a certificate that tells me, you know, I'm professionally qualified to do anything, but my birth certificate to now, everything that happened in between, I'm personally qualified to listen and to, you know, draw from my own experiences with a whole wealth of shit that has been thrown my way through the last 34 years. And I'll listen to anyone. You can send me a voice message or a written message, or we can just chat shit when you feel like you're starting to go a bit sideways, and we don't even have to talk about what's really going on. I can fill a lot of airtime quite easily. Whatever your journey has been, however much shit is thrown at you, whether you have had bipolar disorder or addiction, or you have OCD, or any of those things, you have come however far you've come. Please do everything you can not to fall all the way back just because something else has gone wrong. You've had things go wrong before. You've faced worse. And if you can see this video, it means you're still standing. So you can carry on standing, and you can carry on walking, and eventually running, and get through all of this. We all can. We're all anxious and tired and scared, and probably all going to get a bit weird over the next couple of weeks. I'm certainly going to get weird. I've almost pre-planned the weirdness. Even added colour to my backdrops now. That has been pissing me off all day, trying to get that to stand up. Yeah, just look at the information that's out there and speak to the people around you. Trust me, you are not burdening anyone by reaching out to them. Everyone wants you to be okay. Everyone wants each other to be okay. So let's do it. Let's be okay for ourselves, and let's be okay for each other. And if you're not sure of, you know, where you can look or who you can call, I'll whack some thingies here-ish somewhere afterwards if my laptop allows me, because it's broken. Solid timing.